So I will introduce Dina as someone who's completely smashed it with something that really is cohesive with what we're doing here. And she can talk about it.
My notes are like that big. But hi, my name's Dina. I want to thank everyone for being here. I mean, we have friends that have driven down from Melbourne, from the Dandenongs, and a lot of new local friends that we have both made in this community all the way to Wonthaggi and towards Phillip Island. So thank you so much everyone for their support. I want to thank Jackie for booking this amazing venue. Out of the blue, she's like, I booked this amazing venue, would you like to put something in the middle? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, oh, heck, because if you knew my artwork prior to now, it's black skulls. I do gothic. And I'm like, oh, how am I going to do C? But C's not foreign to me. I grew up in Melbourne and we camped at Wilson's Prom every Christmas for a decade. And I collected seashells and I pinned insects and collected bones, and that's the sort of kid I was. I've been an artist since I was 5, that's my earliest memories. And then as a young adult, moved to Queensland where I had my kids, one of them over there, one, and we lived on the Gold Coast and on Moreton Bay for 30 years. So marine became very intrinsic to a lot of my artwork. I always worked on nature-based themes, be it either forest or marine, and the creatures that inhabit those. Preserving those creatures and preserving those ecosystems is incredibly important to me, and my artwork always says that. About 30 years ago, I started working with resin. These are resin, I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. I started working with resin and I took impressions of the mudflats on Moreton Bay, of the creatures, and made resin panels. So I've been familiar with resin for a long time, and I've been a mixed media artist all that time. And resin's come in and out for me of that. More recently, I bought a 3D printer, a resin printer, because I like innovation. A lot of people that have worked with me in the past, innovation's kind of my working go-to. And it's taken me the better part of a year to work out how to make a figure in resin on my printer, because it's like really technical. There's nothing easy about 3D printing. And when Jackie said, I'll come here, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, I was doing some 3D printing classes, and the easiest shape to make is a blob, hello jellyfish. And the penny dropped, and I'm like, I can make jellyfish. And so here we are. So these jellyfish are made with resin. So I've 3D printed the bell shape, but then I've hand-coloured, hand-iridised and hand-made the tentacles. The sea cucumbers are all printed and are the little sea anemones. And I was already doing preservation of butterflies in domes. And so this was just an extension of that sort of Gothic oddities I was already working on. And I was able to really work with Jackie's amazing colours and help put together this exhibition. Another important thing, and I mentioned conservation, is there's a terrible irony about using 3D printing and using resin, because it is plastic. And it's plastic that's choking our oceans and our waterways. So these are museum specimens of the risks we face as consumers. And my artwork over this next 18 months is going to be dedicated to that consumerism versus conservation. It's hypocritical. We live in beautiful plastic-filled homes with plastic-filled cars, and yet we have a hypocrisy about conservation. And so my work is going to become very intent on that message. But in the meantime, it's bright, cheery and colourful, and thank you.
And highly collectible.
And highly collectible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you everyone for your support, and if you have any questions, come and see either of us and have one. Thanks.
Thank you.